Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. pattern of conduct, the ongoing real-time documentation of what is the criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in violation of 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is the pattern of conduct underway by a public entity, that is the state of California, that is engaging in federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California. So this is group conduct. And this is the practicing of what are the criminal elements of monitoring amongst what is the demon possessed. And so this is what is documentation of terrorism as it is underway by a public entity in concert with the people of the state who are in the shoes of the government as this criminal system is in ceaseless operation. And as the state engages in this demented group conduct, this is revealing how the public entity, that is the state of California, that is in the United States of America, how terrorism of an American citizen plays out, what that looks like, how that is facilitated amongst a people, amongst a government, how it is public corruption in plain sight, and not only that, how you formulate policy and how you prosecute that which is demonic conduct, it's demonic activity, but that which is in no way impervious to prosecution in federal court, and being subject to ratification into federal policy. This is the P.O.C. All right, 7FOX050, 8TBP681, 8PSE319, 6HEX640, 44016K2, 7EOT919, 8EEY240. You're going the wrong way. Are you trying to get the whole? Oh. 7TLJ859, 8SPK439, 6WLH318, 6NID517, 7PLN467, 8YMJ970. These are the sex offenders at facilitating venue, Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt. And this is the venue that is within Ontario Village Shopping Center where the state's fake sun, as I captured on video, is directly over. The state is aiming 5XUK945 impossible light activity underneath that shaded structure in front of the entrance at the doorway. And directed light is right above the hallway entrance on the ceiling in between where the restroom is, and that is a sexually violent threat, absolutely impossible light activity, purposely placed there for purposes of monitoring inside of the private space, the people maintaining presence inside of that private space, stalking in the bathroom, maintaining audible activity that the state is amplifying, which I also documented as well. It is 8:30 a.m., 8JQM224. That is the sexual violence by the people of the state. That is on behalf of the sex offender, that is the state of California. 1895Z handicap. 5YTX394, 8NED701, 8WTM389. Alrighty, I did capture video of not only the state's fake sun. Let me document Brink's crossing path going north on Euclid Avenue right now at 8:32 a.m. I did capture video of what is the demon-possessed driving school buses on the roads that the state is covering with directed light. Nothing new, all right? 7NAK650 is the same student transportation bus that they're using to cross path. It's got the same license plate. I just want to document that they are crossing path, but they're using that same bus with the same license plate over and over again. These demons know they're being documented. 8DDK598. It is nonetheless what I captured is directed light, just appearing its inexplicable light in the shade, in the same way that demons are crossing path, including the sheriff's department, in the shade, and directed light is just appearing as Omnitrans drives by, as I'm standing on the side of the Shiro's liquor building, and in the shade, directed light just appearing. It's the same tactic, okay? And you have what is just inexplicable directed light appearing on the ceiling, inside of a building. Absolutely impossible. There is no trajectory of light where that is naturally occurring. You're talking about deliberately placing it there, and that is within the pattern of conduct of stalking with light, also placing it where the bathroom hallway is, where these sex offenders are monitoring. Okay, City of Ontario is crossing path in a deer Construction vehicle, deer will be prosecuted for that. Security paving, crossing path, 55626X2, creating light activity, 37994M2, creating light activity, in the same way that they are monitoring at the 10 freeway entrance, as I documented that while the state was moving its fake sun to remain in the window, and security paving was at the 10 freeway entrance monitoring with the people of the state. That's what security paving is now doing in Ontario, crossing path into the fake sun, with knowledge of the fact that I documented those demons in those commercial vehicles. Directed light in front of the vehicle while they're crossing path as well. 7AOT 216, 7WAU 725, 7VQK 904, 7WYZ 137, 8VAK 782, and that is speaking to the intentional conduct of the people of the state, period. You're talking about what was the state's fake sun doing? It wasn't staying stationary at 150 East Holt. The state's fake sun, as I was documenting Security Paving Inc., was in real-time motion as I was being driven at this same exact time north of Euclid Avenue to be at the 7-Eleven at 204 North Euclid Avenue. And while I was capturing the state's fake sun in the window while security paving, in the same way it is right now, stalking with the state and Ontario police, all right, who are crossing path now going north of Euclid under the same fake sun monitoring, 8GEN 591, you have what is the movement of that fake sun that is present and remaining over me in Ontario at whatever location I remain at, in conflict with nature and common sense, all right? You're talking about what is stalking with light, and that's what security paving is engaged in as well. Stalking with light, creating light activity, demons that are identified as the company, as security paving, that company is going to be associated with what is terrorism, engaging in commercial stalking on behalf of the government. So it is currently 8:35 a.m. I just want to point that out because that's how I documented security paving en route to Upland. Now they're coming out here in Ontario under the fake sun at this corner to monitor. 7JMA 327. And they also did the same thing in what is Rancho Cucamonga. While the state's fake sun is, again, not stationary in the city of Ontario, I'm documenting it while it is remaining in the window of the Omnitrans bus while I'm en route to Fontana, where it would be impossible to capture this light if that was actually the sun, FRNISMO. And the state is moving that fake sun in the window of that bus as I travel to the city of Fontana. And security paving is crossing path on that freeway of the 10 on Archibald, moving toward Inland Empire Boulevard, and security paving is crossing path there, stalking. Okay, it's P.O.C. Alrighty, license plate 8RDW070, 6JCP184, 5MYM935, 6HUN328, 6CKG438, demons that line up in traffic. It's relevant positioning while I capture that video of the state's fake sun, which is over the 3-star janitorial. What are you recalling? I'm showing you what is common sense revelation of stalking with a fake sun. First of all, for the state's fake sun to be over me at the Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt, and then you're talking about remaining over the B&G Plaza until I go wherever it is I go, if that's the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, for example, which is blatant stalking with a light source that's not the sun, as it remains over that location for the duration of a day. And after 4 p.m. is the duration of the day, and that is not the sun under any circumstances. But not only that, you're talking about 3-star janitorial, where the state's fake sun is west of the location where the state, for example, when I stayed at B&G Plaza all day, and the state kept its fake sun, which I believe was November 26th, and then I traveled east on Hope Boulevard on the bus where the state moved its fake sun eastward to remain in the window of that bus. All right, where at the same time I was showing you what the state's pattern is, acting like the sun is setting after it remains over a single address all day long. It's not setting and it's not going anywhere, and that's also not the sun that will remain over an address all day long. You have what is the state then moving its fake sun eastward. That's how I'm able to capture it over the Ontario Airport Plaza at the Starbucks at the intersection of Vineyard and Hope Boulevard, which I believe is 111 North Vineyard Avenue. And you have what is the state engaging in, this is what I was showing you. In the morning right now, I'm showing you what is the state's fake sun that is in the same position when the state is acting like the sun is setting. It changes the color to a deeper color orange. City of Ontario crossing path right now. I'm sorry, not City of Ontario, Ontario Fire Department crossing path. And you have what is, and that's at 8:40 a.m. You have what is the state changing the color of its fake sun as it remains on the same block all day long, because it's 8 something in the morning right now, right? It remains on the same block, changes the color, and then moves in the same direction that I'm already capturing it at 8 in the morning. So the state is then changing the color of its fake sun and its directed light to be over those same venues that I already captured it early in the morning. That's not the sun. Over the 3-star janitorial, that's where the state is moving when it's acting like the sun is setting as I remain at the B&G Plaza. It doesn't even ever get there then, remember? But it's moving in that direction as though the sun is setting, as though that is the sun and that it is setting. That's what the state is doing. I'm already capturing it earlier in the morning when I'm much west of this location where the state is following with this fake sun, all right, and then remaining where I am. And that is how you are not able to actually mimic the sun, because the sun is not starting its day where I am, first of all, and engaged in what is blatant contradiction of what is supposed to be the conduct of the sun. If that's the sun that's remaining over 630 North Fern, then I'm not going to be able to capture it over the Stater Brothers parking lot west of that location. And then it's moving east to remain over me, directly over me, at the same time as I am traveling east to be at an address that is east of that location of 630 North Fern, where it is 24 hours earlier, supposedly staying until after 10 o'clock in the morning. And then you're talking about from city to city at 10 o'clock in the morning. I specifically documented the state keeping its fake sun over the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library as I enter it at 10 o'clock in the morning. I specifically documented the state's fake sun as I am in the city of Upland, not only at the Upland Public Library, but at the former apartment that I used to live in where the state was monitoring me until I found out and I moved away. I moved out of that apartment. My last former residence in the city of Upland, I documented this at 10 o'clock in the morning. I did that on purpose. That does not coexist. I specifically documented at 10 o'clock in the morning being over the Fontana Lewis Library, where the state is engaging in moving that fake sun from this city, Ontario, to Fontana, but you have indirect conflict with that documentation of what is not the sun, because the sun is not engaging in that sort of chicanery all over the place. If it's the actual sun, then it's going to be consistent. It will actually remain over that visibly present sky space of 630 North Fern, and that is not ubiquitous presence, maintenance over central over my head as I go to the city of Fontana, but yet you're documented remaining over 630 North Fern. That does not coexist. That is not the sun. And that is not natural occurrence. That's the same conduct with what is directed light with a fake sun, a light source, showing what is 8BG 928, I can't really see that one. License 5LYP837, a better example, a demon-possessed stalker, because that's entirely demonic. While they are stalking with what is engineered light, molesting, which is exactly what they're doing while you're listening to traffic, they're sex offenders molesting on the run while they're monitoring with the government, including the fire department, that's why I named them, and Aramark driving west as well. You have what is engaging in this conduct with that which is clearly not the sun. And so I am perplexed when you have what is clearly revealing what is not the sun. This is not separate. It is cumulative documentation that is not just revealing for the past several months. You're talking about over a term of years what is documentation of what is not the sun. You are paying attention to what is, we are now in November of 2021, and the state is engaging in feigning as though, because I'm at the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, the sun is aiming all of this sunlight inside of the entrance of the library, where it is present over that building of the 280 North Lemon Apartments, right adjacent to the entrance, aiming light underneath that entrance. This is common sense, all right? That's not the sun that's concentrating light on a particular address. That is showing the same pattern of stalking with light. All you have to do is pay attention to the details. That's all. That's all you got to do. Because then the state is engaging in, let's draw back on a totally far-fetched example, okay? And by far-fetched, I mean it was a blatant example of what is absolutely impossible. So I'm showing you what the state is doing at 3:45 in the morning. 3:45, almost 4 o'clock in the evening. And you're talking, while I'm inside of the Ovitt Family Community Library, and you're looking at what is all of that directed light in front, inside of the entrance, and what is all that directed light outside of the entrance. That's impossible. Sunlight is not reflecting like that, creating your shadows in front of you and back of you. Sunlight is not moving, swiping around while you're opening and closing the door, let alone sunlight is not remaining over and in front of that, underneath that entrance, as I'm showing you as I arrive, not only at 10 o'clock, but you're talking about I've arrived at that library well before 8 o'clock. All right. But as of late, let's say it was as early as 9:18 a.m. As I'm sitting at the 280 North Lemon Apartments in the shaded area, as I refer to it, State's fake sun is right over that 280 North Lemon Apartments, aiming that same blue-colored directed light, which is a new tactic, by the way. The state was not engaging in that, while it was also keeping its fake sun over that same area, not engaging in that different tactic of aiming blue-tinted directed light, which is nonetheless impossible. But I'm just pointing out, because the state engages in much of inconsistent conduct with that which is not the sun and that which is not sunlight. But nonetheless, recall when I am in Palmdale, California, Los Angeles, you're looking at the same exact tactic at the same time frame. First of all, the state's fake sun is captured out of the window of the Palmdale, the Holiday Inn. And I'm also showing you what is directed light inside of that Holiday Inn, the fake sun that's outside of the window, and this is after 11 o'clock in the morning. Whereas the state is engaged in a pattern of keeping its fake sun over me in the city, directly over my head, in the city of Fontana, in the city of Ontario, in the city of Upland, in the city of San Bernardino, in the city of, when I was in Los Angeles County, and I wanted to say it was Azusa. You have what is the maintenance of this light source while I was traveling to the city of Palmdale, not just over me in Ontario and seeing in the general sky. The state kept its fake sun over the window, over the windshield, and I was thorough enough to show you that in video. There is no reasonable question about what is stalking with a fake sun. You are not able, this is the sun, I'm talking about the analysis of the sun. This is not the sun that is both remaining over the 280 North Limit Apartments after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, remaining over the B&G Plaza, maintaining at both addresses, maintaining that same central presence over me, all right? That's not the sun. And then it's also not the sun that is maintaining that central presence over me while I travel and remain in the city of Palmdale. Okay, and that's also what I showed you. And that was the pattern, what you're seeing the state doing with the fake sun, changing the color of that fake sun, changing the color of that directed light, and engaging in its tactics of filling the venue, touching the grounds, filling in with darker color directed light. That's exactly what I'm showing you inside of that 7-Eleven that was on Palmdale Boulevard. And the state at that 7-Eleven were those demons that are the third parties, the people of the state, and that's how they engage in that same exact method of stalking with light and stalking with activity, because this is a demonic system and those demons know exactly who I am when I'm in an entirely different county. And at that 7-Eleven on Palmdale Boulevard, you have what was the state keeping that fake sun where? Just like you saw on at 4:28 p.m. at the Ontario Plaza on Mountain Boulevard, the state kept its fake sun in perfect alignment with me in that parking lot, aiming directed light, orange colored directed light, while that fake sun was in alignment from the Ontario Overfam Community Library, moving it west, keeping it in alignment with the car, and then moving it north, keeping it in alignment with the car. As I get out in the parking lot, the state's fake sun is in perfect alignment with me in the parking lot. You can see it, the line of that alignment, okay? You can see it. And then you're looking at what the state is covering the buildings of the parking lot of the Ontario Plaza with orange colored directed light. All right, that's the same exact thing I showed you in Palmdale. While the state kept its fake sun in alignment with me in the city of Palmdale, that's Los Angeles County, and while I'm at the 7-Eleven that's down the street from that Holiday Inn, what is the state doing? Filling and covering the grounds with what is directed light, which I also showed you. It's not sunlight. It is orange colored directed light. This is a pattern. And you have what is opening and closing the door, the same tactic, the signature move of the state that is stalking with light, which is entirely demonic, and the demon-possessed people of the state of California in Los Angeles County were engaging in stalking in the path with the government while the state was swiping with directed light, that which is not sunlight. And this sunlight is not swiping as you're opening and closing the door. Sunlight is not creating your shadow upside and downside and creating double shadows, as I showed you in that engineered light, while the state kept its fake sun in perfect alignment with me in the city of Palmdale, after showing you what is video of keeping it directly over my head while en route to and from the city of Palmdale. That is Los Angeles County. Documenting the Los Angeles County Sheriff stalking under the fake sun. That's not the sun. While that coexists with what is documentation of already the state's engagement in stalking with the fake sun over my head in San Bernardino County. Whatever city I'm at, whatever address I'm at, that is not the sun that I'm showing you. That is at 4:28 p.m. in the parking lot of that Ontario Plaza on Mountain Boulevard, on Mountain Avenue. This is what you are not looking at anything in a vacuum. You are looking at what is a pattern of stalking with light. And I have already demonstrated this. So this fascination with one particular video on YouTube or on my webpage, it is unreasonable. And this is a disdain to understanding what the government is engaging in, whether you want to accept it or not. It has already been established that the state is stalking with light, and that is not the sun. That is not the sun that is remaining over the Ontario Overfamily Community Library, remaining and aiming light all day into the depths of that library. And also you're talking about aiming it from all angles. I'm showing you inside of the copy room. I've also documented on the backside where the College of Law, University of Laverne, the state aiming its fake sun over my head. I've documented this at 10:15 in the morning after I entered, and the state's fake sun was at the front entrance of the Overfamily Community Library. That's not the sun. And then I'm showing you what is remaining over the city of Upland, over my head, over the library, over the 7-Eleven, over the Upland Unified School District, whatever address you want to pick, over my former apartment that I lived at off of Reading Way and 11th Street. This is not the sun. And then I go to Palmdale. You've already witnessed this, and it is direct evidence of the government stalking with a light source. And why? Because these demons that I'm identifying by municipality, by companies such as Brightview, all right, by government actors, law enforcement such as Ontario Police Department, all right, by third parties such as Lilly, okay, such as UPS and FedEx that are stalking systematically, the United States Postal Service, and third parties such as 7GUC 724 at the stoplight, where the state is maintaining that environment under that which is not the sun. It's already been established, and I've already demonstrated it. And there is no reasonable question when you're looking at what is on Mountain Avenue at 4:28 p.m., perfect alignment with me in the city of Ontario. And when I go to whatever city in Los Angeles County, that same alignment, not only over my head, I'm showing you what is directed light while we're at the car wash in Palmdale. Don't forget that. I'm showing you what is maintenance over my head while I'm in the parking lot of that Holiday Inn off of Palmdale Avenue in the city of Los Angeles County. I don't think so. That's not the sun. There is no reasonable basis to question it. I have demonstrated it. The state has provided the evidence of it. I documented it. The government and the people of the state are violent, sex offenders, or demon-possessed stalkers. 75241 handicap. And let me be clear, his handicap is not physical. His handicap is spiritual. That fool is handicapped in the spirit. He is plagued with demon possession, and he's stalking somebody. 7FBU488 on behalf of the government. That's what Aramark is engaged in. That's what CENTAS is engaged in. 17349C2. While they have that which is not sunlight, molesting my body, covering the buildings and the sidewalks. There are hundreds of videos of revealing that. There is no reasonable question as to what I have revealed that the government is engaging in. There is no reasonable basis for it. There is no trying to slice and dice. Oh, well, no, it is not. And this is what I know. I'm dealing with what are unreasonable, demon-possessed, biased stalkers who are not accepting the fact that this whole system has been exploded and it is imploding. All right. And I want to document the demons of Ryder. All right. These demons were engaging in repeated crossing paths while I'm giving you this legal analysis, and I'm going to prosecute Ryder specifically. They engage in that under the fake sun and indirect light with knowledge of their documentation. License 2315024. All right. Documenting heavy duty demon possession by Ryder. And then the third parties that cross paths with that entity, and the Ryder represents the entity that is flying over my head in Frontier Airlines, hovering over the same building that I'm standing in front of while directed light is swiping all across the buildings, all across the sidewalk. Ryder molests after I capture that demon, representing that company, monitoring an American citizen, in concert with USPS vehicle 1261503. And you're looking at what is directed light. You're looking at what is stalking by airplane. You're looking at what is stalking with the fake sun. You're looking at what is stalking and molesting with directed light. All of that captured in that video where I am pointing out Ryder, who is to be prosecuted for that specific act of terrorism, engaging in the repeated acts of crossing paths with knowledge of your being documented. This is the demonic character, and that's going toward what is the prosecution of terrorism by the people of the state. All right, and that is a terrorizing act while the government is monitoring you, and you have what is the identification of such. This is what all of the demons engaged in. The United States Postal Service has identified those demons engaged in that same gang conduct. The demons of the Amazon Prime engaged in that same conduct as I identified them as a commercial actor. All right, the demons of Union Pacific engaged in that same conduct as I identified them as an actor. All right, it is the behavioral pattern of what are demons. All right, and this is a demonic system, and they're acting on behalf of the government. United States Postal Service, they are actually a government actor, but I'm speaking in general with regard to the people of the state. And with regard to the form that United States Postal Service takes, let me be clear, they are actually engaging in what is this satanic monitoring system in a palatable form. They're representing the people of the state, if you will, regardless of their specific status, which is a government actor. That's a federal government. All right, and they're monitoring systematically in concert with the people of the state, doing so by delivering your mail, being in relevant position under the fake sun and directed light, stalking with activity, creating light activity, molesting with the same exact directed light. There is no difference, all right? It is P.O.C, and you're talking about documenting in video what is Ryder, engaging in that conduct, just like every other demon that I'm documenting as they're crossing path in the shade, and you have what is knowledge of who I am, where I am, what I'm doing, and what I'm saying, all right? Well, that's the signature of the stalker. That's the identification of the stalker and a demon-possessed stalker that is acting with the government, that was flying over my head in that video by Frontier under the fake sun while directed light is appearing. And this is while they are crossing path in the shade, the state's fake sunlight, in other words, that fake sun is not aiming and making any sort of light activity of that nature on that building and on my person. 1159426, I want to document. That's Ontario Fire Department in the paramedics vehicle molesting with the same exact directed light. That's a sex offender. That's the state acting directly. All right. All these vehicles you hear, they're engaging in the same conduct. It's an ongoing molestation. These are stalkers representing the government. The state is a sex offender, and that's why it's aiming directed light inside of the Stater brothers above the roof onto the ceiling inside of that area. Okay. Just placing a strip of light. That's what is ongoing while they are crossing path. 8 CRX 940. And that's what I captured in the video. Take a look at that. It's 8:56 a.m. That's demonic. You're hearing noise as I look at my phone for the first time. These are demons who are focused on me, and you also know that because they're under the fake sun and they are present with directed light. License 02173W1. All right, and that is, here comes the sheriff engaging in the same demonic system. Let's get that license plate. 34H722, that's a white female, communication device held up, directed light while she crosses path. Oh, that's not the sheriff. 7SBT134, 8RSE762. Alrighty, that's a demon-possessed stalker. All of them. This is satanic, what California has going on. It's got some serious issues going on. And like I was stating, as I have already shown, you're talking about keeping a fake sun over me at a single address, and the state has engaged in an absolute departure from that while it kept its fake sun, unless you want to try to conveniently forget that. The state kept its fake sun over me while I traveled to the city of Palmdale. This demon crossing path with directed light. This old geezer, license 07505F2. License 6RBT762, 8SXY787. 8TDE976, 7HZB016, 37995, M2. License CK113, license 6NID026, 7UHC373, 25488D2, 92710U2, 7RGJ461, 8NZA989. And let me be clear, the directed light is not appearing. First of all, directed light is engineered light, never naturally occurring. Second of all, that engineered light is not occurring on the side of the S.I.I.S liquor. What I'm showing you in the video, it's occurring right here where I am because this is where I'm standing. It's not occurring while Omnitrans crosses path at the bus stop. Omnitrans engages in that molestation while I'm breaking down what is the already existing evidence of stalking with a fake sun. All right, Omnitrans molesting right here at this corner where Enrique's income taxes, because this is where I'm standing. Omnitrans is the stalker, knows exactly who I am, knows what I'm doing, knows what I am saying. All right, and that's a sex offender and a stalker on behalf of the government that is also hostile while I reveal the fact that they are demon possessed. Let me be clear. It's demonic what they're engaging in, and sexually violent and terrorizing. It is not occurring at that S.I.I.S liquor building. It's occurring right here while those demons are crossing path with knowledge of who I am. Like I said, that is an ongoing admission by the people who say there's no question about what they are, demon possessed, and what they're doing, stalking, and who they're doing it with on behalf of the government that's operating this monitoring system, who is keeping a fake sun over my head. It is an admission as all of them yet again. 8CNZ 843, even just Ryder providing that documentation. Ryder represents the people of the state. You're talking about some random stranger? No. That impossible occurrence occurring, which is a pattern 2 or more times, is a pattern of what is an impossible occurrence under what is established as not the sun, and that's not sunlight that's going to occur. And even if you want to try to posit unreasonably, you're admitting in doing so that that's the sun, because you are dismissing what is objective evidence showing that it's not. You're talking about that is not sunlight on any day and in no way. Okay, Ryder is demonstrating what is first of all demonic and knowledge of who I am. Ryder itself, but I've got hundreds of them engaging in that same conduct. This is what the people of the state are doing. They are stalkers. And as they engage in that conduct, because there are demons that are hostile, they prosecute themselves. Because all I'm doing is running the tape, and I'm going to prosecute them. 8PCD088. They know exactly who I am, and they're stalkers. 7TQJ761, 8VZF622. And that's why you have in Los Angeles County at that a random 7-Eleven, the state's fake sun in alignment with me. Okay, you have what are demons that are in alignment, molesting with what is not sunlight in the same exact conduct as the demons of San Bernardino County. 7BEC084, 6PNA865. They're called the people of the state. 8YAS326, 7XXE285, 044, 46V2. All right, and they are strangers that are stalking. All right, Ontario Police, group stalking on the back street of transit. All right, driving around the perimeter, being stalkers under the fake sun, monitoring while I'm being molested. That's what's wrong with the Ontario Police Department. Driving on the back street of transit, of Emporia, behind the Center Ice Arena. They're driving around the perimeter while this impossible light activity is occurring, while the demons of the city of Ontario are driving in the parking lot, or is that security paving, creating light activity around me. Those demons of the Ontario Police Department are driving on the back street of Emporia. That's called relevant positioning. Okay, that's called driving around the perimeter while that impossible light activity is occurring where I am. It's very targeted. That's what Ontario Police Department are engaging in. Like I said, it's stalking conspicuously and inconspicuously. And that is 9:01 a.m. where I am witnessing Ontario Police driving past the Center Ice Arena on Emporia. Hello, Satan. What you looking at? Order your food at Andy's. He over here staring at me while he's supposed to be ordering. But let me show you what is the fake son while he's over here ordering. It's called relevant position. It's 9:01 a.m. Forms and license plate 8TQS271 is the one that's fixated on me instead of ordering his food at Andy's Burgers, which is supposed to be the form of these demons while they're under the fake sun and in directed light. There is no form. All right, sent to his crossing path again at 9:01 a.m. And so, like I was stating, you have what is the state's fake son and that molestation with directed light. The demons of the Ontario Police Department are driving, and that's relevant positioning, and it's inconspicuous stalking in the path, monitoring with the people of the state while they are engaging in an ongoing admission as to the fact that they are stalking an American citizen who is documenting it and identifying what is stalking conduct on behalf of the government. And that's what that directed light is revealing. And it is also identifying what are not ordinary stalkers by virtue of the fact that they're stalking as a people and on behalf of the government, but they are stalking as demon-possessed persons. All right, it's entirely demonic as they are engaging in that pack conduct. It's entirely demonic as they are engaging in this use of light. Let me show you the Ontario Fire Department, the demon-possessed entity it is. Alrighty, I'm showing you what is maintenance of relevant positioning while the demons of the Ontario Fire Department with the Ontario Police Department who's driving around the perimeter on Emporia. This is stalking in the parking lot while you have the maintenance of light activity while demons drive by. LN Heart ALXS, Impossible Light, while Andy's Burgers door flies open. That's a fire. Oh, let me get this demon. Hold on. All right, I'm sorry. I had to stop and get that. While that demon of the fire department opens the door, first of all, you're looking at what is the fake son. Second of all, while he opens up the door of third-party facilitating venue Andy's Burgers, directed light swiping forward and backwards while they open the door. That's impossible light activity. This is the fake son that's over now the B&G Plaza parking lot. Ontario police is stalking on the back streets of Emporia. Directed light is, and the fake son is over the head of the Ontario Fire Department. You're witnessing what is the demon possession and the stalking activity by the state as it acts directly, okay? All right, license plate, monitoring with the fire department, monitoring with the police who are driving around the perimeter on Emporia, monitoring with minor children in the car. I'm going to prosecute for that, engaging in that terrorism and sexual violence. 5HRL363, and you see him on video. And you also have what is that terrorizing act of that directed light while they're stalking with light with the government, while they are crossing path, because that's what that's called. While you are stalking on behalf of the government, you're not just driving around, you are crossing path. That is the term of art when you're prosecuting the people who are stalking on behalf of the government. All right, that's some rich video documentation. We're going to take a good gander at that as well. It is currently 9:05 a.m. This is P.O.C. XGN780. Ultra personnel creating noise, communication devices in hand while they do so under the fake sun. Her and her pot belly. CVL7654. That's an Arizona plate, loitering in relevant position. It is currently 9:06 a.m. That's ultra personnel engaging in P.O.C. 8EZT189, 8P12439, 7WTG913. 7VOS 809, 8WTV 893, 6EQJ 965, 7JXT 938, 7CAX 296, 8FEK 468. Uh, 7YWR 584, stalking into a parking lot while the state sounds plane engines, directed light beside the vehicle. This is the stalker. 7MXM 432. As they all are, but I'm breaking it down what I've shown you, and this is the analysis of that. You know exactly who I am under the fake sun. You know exactly who I am in directed light, and you are stalking on behalf of the government. 8BCS199, and there is no First Amendment rights. You're not exercising any First Amendment rights on behalf of the state. 7UIW085, where you're stalking with the state, and that's what the people of the state are doing. 88321J2, and that's going to be an epic prosecution, an epic one. License 6BZL862, 7PEH331, 7RCS594, 7HCM281, 4GGR618, 5MXV108, 57371W2, 7RGJ461, 7VZD954, and I already read this one. That stalker with directed light follows to Shiro's Liquor, and they're on camera right now, 7MXM432. And this demon, 8AZW558. It's 9:08 a.m. 7LXP960. It is currently 9:12 a.m. Alrighty, and you have what is that ongoing stalking, stalking admission. Because that's exactly what directed light serves as. And this has been established as what is the hallmark of because that's what it is. It coexists, with the presence of the people of the state. And that incredible occurrence, which is entirely abnormal and unnatural. In other words, it is that which is deliberately occurring. And in other words, this is something that is forced to occur. It is a specific signature. It is highlighting what is the incredible presence that is coexisting with that incredible occurrence. In other words, 8FXX273 is a stalker. VALJEEP is a stalker. 8WRM654 is a stalker. 6MBR260 is a stalker. Now, you can replace those license plates. You can add a logo onto the side of their car, and it is stalking all the same. 6T42392. Walking by me in the same directed light is a stalker, okay? 6HXA263. And that's exactly what the people of state do. They engage in surrounding, and this is a state system. They are not stalking as individuals, all right? This is not some weird stalking club that is going on that I'm revealing. This is a government monitoring system. The government is monitoring an American citizen, myself, and I'm documenting it, and I'm showing you how the government is doing it, and it's doing it through the people. The people include any commercial actor in relevant position. 6GBG398, 7KAX784. Relevant position is speaking to presence in your path in any mode, including USPS, vehicle 2200718. Okay, that demon knows exactly who I am while they drive by in that USPS vehicle, directed light on the ground. Impossible light activity, 7XWY861. All right, impossible light activity under that which is not the sun. You know exactly who I am, and you are stalking on behalf of that entity. License 8GJS578, 8YJZ252, 8UN, I can't see that one, you can scratch that, 7PQN220, 07213G2, 8UBH931, Omnitrans, license 1399979, okay? License 1549699, 21642J1, license 4TGJ329, license 6LWU103. And while Omnitrans crosses path, the same impossible light activity, as sunlight is not streaming like lasers from any vehicle that is driving by, even if that was the sun, in the same way that you're looking at as rider crosses by, that's exactly what Omnitrans is engaging in. It is demonic. It is speaking to knowledge of who I am and where I am, as that is not occurring now at the Enrique's income tax corner where Omnitrans molested me before. All right, it's not occurring at the Shiro's Liquor where I showed you before, where they're crossing path over there. It's occurring right where I am. Monitoring with the Ontario Fire Department, the demon-possessed entity that I just showed you under the fake sun, engaging in stalking and terrorism with that which is unnaturally occurring under the fake sun, which is moved from that position by the Andy's Burgers, by the way, where they were stalking in the parking lot. 7NXJ957. As the Ontario Fire Department crosses path, monitoring with Omnitrans, monitoring with demons crossing path, focus on their communication devices. They just don't have a license plate. That's why I capture them by images as well. 6ZBW197. The fake sun is now over where I am. The directed light is occurring where I am, not where they are engaging in this presence of this directed light as though it's some undiscovered phenomenon that's occurring only in the state of California. It's not. It's occurring particular to where I am, in the same way that the state's fake sun is precise to where I am. That is stalking activity on behalf of a Satan focused, a Satan-serving government. That is that is California, the public entity. It's engaging in a satanic monitoring system. It's absolutely satanic. Every element that they engage in, it is derived out of demonic conduct. It's inspired by that which is of the demonic. 8PCD088, 7MOX893. The sheriff, demon-possessed. 8XOG974 going westbound. All right. Satan owns the sheriff's department. Satan owns the Ontario Police Department. Satan owns the Ontario Fire Department. 8MTP307. And what does that mean? You're talking about what are psychopaths. License 158424, I believe. That's the Ontario Police Department crossing paths with the sound of sirens coming from the opposite direction while directed light spews on the ground. All right, Officer Medina that was engaging in monitoring me while directed light moved across the Metro 1 and 2 apartments. He was speaking the truth when he says that he knows who I am. He's a demon-possessed stalker, and that directed light is what is demonstrating that, okay? License plate. The demon-possessed that are of American Medical Response, they have demonstrated it day in and day out. At the same time, while I'm in the city of Upland, using those same sirens and that same logo, speaking to what is the state conduct, while directed light is all over the ground while they cross paths, it's the same exact demonic activity. You can interchange the presence for what is a third party. You're just speaking to ways of identifying that entity. The entity acts commercially through actors such as UPS, FedEx, through actors such as Lilly, through actors such as Ryder, through actors such as Omnitrans, through actors such as Penske Truck, Budget, Amazon Prime, Frontier Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines. The entity acts through what are third parties that are using whatever they have at their disposal, including 7MKJ077, who is monitoring me while directed light is just spewing across the asphalt while they are driving by. It's a demon. That's a demon-possessed individual who is stalking on behalf of a government that's practicing this demonic system. All right, and they're monitoring with communication devices. That's what American Medical Response just demonstrated. That's what the Ontario Fire Department just demonstrated. All right, there's no emergency. There are demons that are pacing back and forth. Everything that they are doing is focused on me, knowing every syllable that I'm uttering, by the way. Okay, that's why Ontario Police Department crosses path while they do, as they do it. 158-2404. Those are psychopaths. All right, stalking an American citizen. All right, they are in no way distinct from what is that directed light that you're seeing on the road, and I have documented them specifically in video with that same admission of demon possession, directed light while they are crossing path under the fake sun. They are monitoring while the people and AMR and the fire department are crossing path, and doing so while they listen to me recite the fact and create this documentation with which you're going to understand what is the necessary disbanding of such police departments. All right, Ontario Fire Department. 6EPK 503. Ontario Police Department crossing path again. That's called patrolling. Those are demons that are pacing back and forth, and that's just one particular actor. All right, the Ontario Police Department. That's terrorism in the same way that Ryder representing a third party. But what is different? The Ontario Police Department are a demon-possessed agency that has engaged in a pattern of kidnapping while they are monitoring. Okay, that is also what is the demon possession by a law enforcement agency. These are all methods of terrorism, as they are demonstrating the fact that they are demon possessed, as they have engaged in a pattern of kidnapping and a pattern of stalking. That is exactly what they're doing now while they are pacing back and forth under the fake sun and in direct light on Holt Boulevard at 9:19 a.m. Okay, engaging in criminal facilitation monitoring with the demons and license JAY-RR3, license 8B53184. All right, and those are psychopaths of the Sheriff's Department, of the Ontario Fire Department, of American Medical Response. Those are actors with regard to the system as I have laid it out. That is the state acting directly. All right, you are talking about demon possession, engaging in group stalking, acting directly, demon possession, engaging in group stalking, acting vicariously through the people of the state, and they are stalking. All right, this is how you have what is this directed light occurring while all of them engage in the same conduct of what is crossing path. You are not exercising any ordinary right. This is not ordinary traffic. This is stalking on behalf of the government. 7ZIH092, and that's what that directed light reveals. And that's again at how you get what is the Ontario Police Department, a demon-possessed agency, stalking in the path, while an ordinary, right, because this is what you're assuming, it's some ordinary traffic, some stranger in a commercial vehicle that is driving by while what is inexplicable light crosses path and molests my person. 8HKL069. That's called directed light. That is within a pattern. It is identifying a demon-possessed stalker who is acting vicariously on behalf of the state, who is stalking on the back streets. That is the Ontario Police Department while that ongoing molestation is underway. And then while that demon-possessed agency is listening to every syllable that I utter, engages in crossing path visibly in front of me under the same fake sun and in directed light. All right, that's demon possession, and that is the ongoing documentation of terrorism by the state as it acts directly. Terrorism, as I'm capturing on video, by third parties such as Ryder, they are acting vicariously. All right, prosecution for both, disbanding of law enforcement, the Sheriff's Department and the Ontario Police Department. All right, the Ontario Fire Department engaged in kidnapping, the American Medical Response engaged in kidnapping while they are monitoring one who is documenting it for that prosecution. You're talking about what is federal prison. That's what's grounds for federal prison as I document that. 81772W2. They have engaged in what is documented acts of kidnapping on behalf of the people of the state who are understand they are invested in, and I specifically documented the people of the state who were engaging in the same exact pattern of conduct while the state kept its fake sun over the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department vehicles while I was kidnapped inside of them. Okay, going from West Valley Detention Center to the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. It was nowhere near remaining over or being over the B&G Plaza. The state kept its fake sun over those vehicles, and the people of the state were stalking, including the United States Postal Service, 11250U2, that's UPS, directed light on the ground, including Omnitrans. All right, who deviated from its Route 66 in order to cross path and monitor me while I'm in that kidnapped state. All right, including the license plates, and this is already published on my website, where I documented the names of those who were engaged in kidnapping as I encountered them. But that's going to the prosecution and what is the disbanding of such law enforcement agencies, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, owned by diseased with demon possession. That is a dangerous psychopath that has no business in law enforcement, stalking and monitoring American citizens and engaging in that criminal conduct, that demented conduct with the demon possessed that are the people of the state. 82528Z2. The names, the license plates of those third parties are already published, and it is specifically tailored to that prosecution of the people and the state that engaged in that act of kidnapping. It's already published on my website, and I'm referring to fictitious prosecution case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. And I did document the license plates while I was kidnapped, and I documented the license plates of those third parties and those venues wherever it is, that in the same way that I'm documenting now, because the entity was continuously engaging in this demonic monitoring system while I was kidnapped, while my body was chained up, while they detained me illegally inside of the jail and by the court, seeking to artificially engineer a mental health case in violation of every right, just literally making up the information. These are the demon-possessed actors of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, and this is what I'm speaking to. Kidnapping with the intent to obstruct justice is the pattern of conduct. All right. Obstruction of justice is the pattern of conduct. Criminal defamation is the pattern of conduct. 7 PPL 959. And while they engage in that criminal act of obstruction, the people were engaging in stalking still. Directed light and the fake sun over the vehicle. Directed light inside of the vehicle of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. Molesting my person while they were kidnapping me. While the people were stalking. 8XNU 187. Still monitoring. All right. It is an obsessive and demonic system in operation in California. And I documented the license plates of those people representing the entire group, the people of the state, while they were stalking in the path, doing the exact same thing that they are doing now while they tried to kidnap me. Well, they did not try to, they actually kidnapped me while they tried to keep me in a kidnapped state. All right. That's what that was. And that you're talking about federal prison. OK, that is that which is exceeding the language of 18 U.S.C. 22618 subsections 1 and 2. All right. But that is that which is exceedingly appropriate for what is federal prison, as I documented. And I was thorough enough to document because I'm going to prosecute and I'm speaking to what is policy, necessary policy. License plates, EMR Transport Incorporated. U114772, that's the back license plate on that truck that's carrying that trailer. So that's actually the license plate of that trailer that EMC is carrying. But this is all documented, and that's relevant to what is the demons of the Ontario Police Department. You're monitoring and representing the government, the people of the state that are engaging in crossing path. This is the criminalization of that conduct. You don't have any First Amendment rights to do that, and it is terrorism while they do so in that environment with knowledge that you're documenting. Every single aspect that I am highlighting right now that I'm mentioning is a point for a prosecution. Understand that. It is relevant for what is the state of mind, the criminal intent, the motivation, and that vicarious conduct on behalf of the government for which you have no First Amendment rights to engage in driving by, to engage in that conduct with what is directed light. And that's going toward, and that's why I pointed out, because you need to understand what is the intent of these demons. And it is entirely malicious and it's demented. And it is entirely intended to terrorize. And then as they terrorize you and engage in conduct that is so unfathomable that no one's going to believe you, but understand, anyone that the target individual is reporting it to is a third party and or state actor. It is designed maliciously through and through to falsely depict that target individual as suffering from some sort of hallucination or being some paranoid schizophrenic. But for documentation, you're seeing it with your own eyes. What is a group stalking psychopath sex offender? 8GQU 759. Stalking on behalf of a government, a demon-possessed stalker. All right? And that's speaking to a very violent psychopath that knows 6LXB818 intends with malice for your ultimate kidnapping in a mental ward. That's the P.O.C. That is the P.O.C. And that is the policy that I advocate, because 18 U.S.C. is not touching on this. It has never been contemplated because it has never been revealed fully what the government is doing and the malice of that criminal system. All right. It is obstruction of justice from the beginning to the end. The people of the state engaging in criminal defamation, which is defamation that is exceeding a pecuniary harm. It's not about money. That is that which is coinciding with what the entity is doing, but it's not about money. It's about the ultimate intent to kidnap by the state, and the people are speaking on behalf of the government. You're not speaking in your individual rights. I'm going to prosecute you. You are acting on behalf of the government. You're present, engaging in any conduct vicariously on behalf of the government in the state's environment. And guess what? The government is monitoring on the venue of the internet. I have documented this thoroughly. You get on the platforms and you engage in criminal defamation, I'm going to prosecute you. You're documenting yourself. And that's what I was speaking to then, and that's what's going to happen, because that's how the government acts. Okay? The people of the state hop themselves on the internet and engage in defamation, and it's part of the same exact P.O.C. All right, to maintain the fallacy that monitoring by the government is singularly maintained by one who is suffering from some mental incapacity. That's exactly what they did on the Reddit platform. All right, attaching my name to that defamation. It is malicious conduct, and they're speaking as a state because the government is on that venue. You're acting on behalf of the government where the government is monitoring. The state's criminal conduct is underway on that venue, and you are facilitating it, and you will be prosecuted. You're not speaking as an individual exercising any First Amendment rights. You're not. All right, and these are the federal repercussions where the government is monitoring. You are cloaked in the state, in the status of the state, because the government is acting through you, and the people are not ignorant of that. Understand that this is concerted conduct through and through. I'm revealing what is entirely demonic and malicious conduct by a government who ultimately intends to kidnap you. All right, so you're talking about federal prison while the Ontario Police, the demon-possessed agency engaging in that pattern, repeatedly crosses paths. DAVZSS, and that's why I'm thorough enough to point it out every single time. AVCO10, I believe, I can't see that whole one, in the Sheriff's Department as well. License plate 1209350. 6RDM571. It is currently 9:28 a.m. You have what is the criminalization of everything that the people engage in blatantly. You want to engage in this criminal conduct with your children, you're going to lose possession of your children. And by the way, you pose a threat to them anyway. Well, let me be clear. Monitoring with the government, an American citizen, monitoring on behalf of the government is no lightweight thing. You are not engaging in something. You're going to go get a Sunday ice cream and go home and make them some fluffy pancakes after you're engaging in targeting an American citizen, engaging in this terrorism. You are presenting a harm to those children and threatening the life of an American citizen, and you're going to lose possession of those children as you demonstrate that, engaging in that P.O.C., as you are documented engaging in that. All right, there's no more of this playing loose with this criminal system, this serious criminal conduct, while you holding the hands of your children, including them in that conduct. No. It is the ultimate demonstration of those who are posing a risk to any children that you are parenting and guarding. You want to include them, you're going to lose them. All right. I don't care whether those demon-possessed children, whether they are demon-possessed or not. That's a whole other issue with regard to assessing that. You're talking about the threat that you are posing, threatening the life of an American citizen. You're talking about the danger that you're presenting while you are including those children in that criminal conduct. Helicopters, directed light in entirely demented environment, stalking by the state in law enforcement vehicles, by absolute strangers. And understand the ordinary target individual that is, say somebody that is, which is intended to, they lose it and they say they have a gun and they just want to go on a shopping because they know all these people are stalking them, and they lose control. All right, worst case scenario. Okay, that is something that you're bringing your children along. And guess what the spin on the news will be? On the evening news, guess what the spin's going to be? All of the people of the state that are monitoring with the government. Who knows how many times we've seen this? The spin on the evening news will be, oh, well, they just lost their mind. I mean, they just freaked out and started aiming their gun and shooting at people. And we don't even know them. And they just lost their mind. We don't even know what happened. And all of them are third-party minions monitoring with the government, targeting an American citizen who lost control and freaked out on everybody and shot him. I'm not saying that I advocate that I support that violence. I'm not. I have shown you what I advocate. Prosecution. There's a way to handle this, okay? And I'm showing you how to do it, and any ordinary American citizen will be able to enforce their rights. But let's say worst case scenario, and you've got your children engaging and participating in that, and then you flip it. Let me be clear. From beginning to end, in this worst case scenario, the government is blaming the American citizen that they are monitoring. The people of the state. Those are the demon-possessed malicious actors. And that would be the spin on the evening news. Okay, they're lying to you. They're lying. And you don't know what the government is actually engaged in. I'm showing you what they're actually engaged in. And it is an ongoing false narrative. You don't ever hear anything about the fact that they were being monitored by all these strangers who are claiming to be victims of somebody who just suddenly up and lost it and started shooting everybody. All All right. Meanwhile, you're looking at what are demons who are monitoring American citizens and bringing along their children while they do so. You're putting them in danger, and you're threatening the life of an American citizen while you're holding hands with the demon-possessed agency of the Ontario Police Department license plate 1591658, vehicle 1028. While you're holding hands with that entity and the sex offender that is Omnitrans, all right, they'll be on the evening news talking about, oh, they were shooting at the, but these sex offending, group stalking psychopaths are monitoring American citizens, and that's the part that you would not hear on the news. 1302446. All right, from beginning to end. That is speaking to what is, as a matter of justice, revealing what is the truth, and that has been my dual purpose from the outset. Understand the government is monitoring, and this is a demon-possessed psychopath operating over some company name. All right, that's a means of identifying a vicarious actor on behalf of the government. All right, and that company name, that logo, that's you're going to drain those pockets. You're going to deconstruct such companies. Omnitrans is not needed. You can have another company replace it that's not, first of all, saturated with demon-possessed actors who are both working there, owning that company, operating that company, facilitating government criminality. You're talking about, you can replace that. That's not needed. What I have documented is reprehensible violence by a company, all right, on behalf of a government in concert with the people. Omnitrans is not needed whatsoever, all right? They are despicable, all right, and acting in concert with these demons of law enforcement and the fire department, all under the fake sun, engaging in sexual violence together, okay? You have what is the unnecessary addition of companies such as those. Omnitrans is not by itself, okay? You're talking about the people of the state that are vicariously acting on behalf of the government, and then again, that's license 1302446. You have what is molestation while they cross path as well, and no directed light by the Shy-Rose Liquor while they drive over there. Directed light across me while they cross path with me. That's a stalker that knows exactly who I am. All right, Ontario Fire Department, they're just having a field day since I captured that video of them. And directed light while those demons drive by, 1021993. I've already shown you that. The Upland Fire Department, it's the same demon possession, a different department. Okay, and while they were driving by me in the parking lot of the Upland Public Library, and you saw that rich orange radiant directed light in that parking lot, that's exactly what the Ontario Fire Department did right now. It's demonic, they're stalking, and they're engaging in what is a show of hostility because I captured those demons on video under the fake sun, which is no longer over that part of the parking lot. It's right here over me, speaking to the stalking conduct of the Ontario Fire Department. Just patrolling up and down, American Medical Response demons, okay? That's P.O.C. This is criminal facilitation while I'm documenting the demons, and you're talking about federal prison, okay? Because they engage in kidnapping, the Ontario Fire Department engage in kidnapping, the Ontario Police Department engage in kidnapping. License plate 9921983, vehicle 32809. And let me show you what is their focus. Get away from me, Satan. And you're talking about what is the focus of me while they're driving by with their sirens and with those lights. Guess what's on the road? Directed light. American Medical Response has no emergency. The emergency is when they go to federal prison, okay? That's going to be the emergency. Directed light is streaming on the road while they are crossing path using their lights and sirens. That's a demon that's behind me. Oh, I like your shoes. While the state is sounding sirens and directed light is beside the American Medical Response vehicles. 11491D3. There is no emergency, and that's the criminal misuse of such emergency vehicles to engage in that demonic, that's terrorism, to engage in that criminal activity with the people of the state. So you're talking about, first of all, having no business in that industry, in that business, in that line of work, in the medical field, not only because they've engaged in kidnapping, and you can fathom the ways in which you are abusing that position where no one knows your condition, one of a psychopath, you're demon possessed, you are wicked at your core, whether you can understand that. You could just speak of understand it. It's defined as what is malicious. You're a malicious individual. You are engaged in, and it is shown through the conduct, they're engaged in criminal activity. Okay, this is fairly concluded as what is revealing what is your true nature, what you are focused on, and I am the focus. I want to be clear. This is 24-hour stalking, as I'm documenting. The same entity is stalking where it knows that I am sleeping. All right, and that whether that's outside of the museum or whether that's inside of a vehicle, where the same entity is aiming directed light that Omnitrans is molesting with, that is unnaturally occurring. They are stalking at that vehicle where they know that I'm sleeping. The same demon-possessed agency of the Ontario Police Department, the Fire Department, American Medical Response, stalking, sitting around in the dark, listening to every syllable, listening to my bodily functions, listening to everything. That's an obsessive level of stalking. It's demonic. License 67884F3. All right, it is the same exact conduct, 8SXK541, monitoring with the sheriff who is driving also westbound. All right, it is currently 9:36 a.m. So while you have what are sirens, that's a criminal misuse of such emergency vehicles. The demonstration of the fact that you are monitoring and engaging in malicious conduct while use of that vehicle, which is on its face supposed to be demonstrating there's an emergency. All right, that you're engaging in legitimate business, but you're monitoring, and that's why directed light is beside that American medical response, as they are in use of those sirens and lights, which is criminal facilitation. It's the elements of monitoring. While the people of the state, including 51453T2 Dewey, are monitoring. Okay, that is speaking to the ways in which, and that is to be addressed by criminal law, federal law, AKAP 452, because this is how the government is monitoring, and this is the use of everything in that society where the government is monitoring is facilitating that system that's underway. License 8S44304. And by the way, what you're paying attention to is nothing other than pacing back and forth. The Ontario Fire Department loitering in relevant position inside of the parking lot of B&G Plaza, while another Ontario Fire Department vehicle drives by, and you have American Medical Response engaging in pacing back and forth, driving past, going westbound, sounding their sirens, driving eastbound, sounding their sirens repeatedly. Ontario Fire Department sounding their sirens while Omnitrans is loitering, directed light across me while they are entering the B&G Plaza. Absolutely disconnected conduct. They didn't even drive by, and that directed light appeared while Omnitrans is on my right side at the bus stop. Okay, they are entirely focused on me, as is revealing by the fake sun and directed light. All right, these are psychopaths who are demon possessed, and that demonic possession is speaking to what is hostility as I reveal it, as I am documenting them, and I am publishing the direct evidence of what is criminal conduct and what is also revealing their condition, which is dangerous to the positions that they hold, having no business in law enforcement, no business in the medical field, no business in the commercial line, the commercial business that they're in. You're a danger to the public while you're monitoring with the government and a demon possessed one, speaking to that predisposition that you have to engage in such demonic, sexually violent, and terrorizing conduct. That is revealing a threat to the public. Okay, so you are talking about that, which is not only revealing what is the people of the state. What is revealing the government. Law enforcement represents the government. All right, they are supposed to be the executive aspect of the branches of government. This is criminality, the absolute heights of hypocrisy. Okay, it's demonic though at its core, and this is what needs to be also known. These are demon possessions, that they are very, very dangerous in that regard. And you're talking about what is a malicious conduct underway by the demon possessed. That is a demonstration of your unworthiness to remain in that position, and it is a matter of justice. I'm showing you what is violation of Title 18, but you're talking about blatant criminal conduct, engaging in all manner of kidnapping and defamation to try to conceal and continue that obsessive demonic system of monitoring. 6 VIR 450. That is not just the Ontario Police Department. That is American Medical Response. That is the Ontario Fire Department as well, who are, while I'm documenting on my podcast, pacing back and forth in relevant position, in directed light under the fake sun, and using those emergency vehicles to do so. All right. You have what is absolute focus on me. You're talking about revealing what is that criminal conduct that they're engaging in of that demon possession, which is their condition, upon engaging in a pattern of what is kidnapping, of one who they are monitoring now to date, and focus on every syllable that I'm uttering, that I'm going to publish for that prosecution. The people of the state are here monitoring to that end. AL0380. That's a Nevada plate, I believe. 8SOY916. And that is the reality of what is wrong with them and what they are doing. 8WNX542. And like I said, the people of the state that I documented while kidnapped by this entity that's pacing all around me, sounding their sirens under the fake sun and what directed light. All right. And that's what I'm telling you about the Upland Police Department. While they're at the Upland High School, using their lights as though there's some legitimate purpose for what they're doing, right? 05610K1. That is not what, there is no presumption of legitimacy. This is criminal conduct through and through. And that's what you're understanding. 7H34364, 7U98868. You're talking about the absence of any legitimacy. Everything that you are doing in relevant position is the ongoing engagement, perpetual engagement in the elements of monitoring. 8RID 548, I believe. The perpetual engagement in monitoring. And that's what the Upland Police were doing. In directed light, using their police vehicles while they are in the path for purposes of monitoring. All right. It is the criminals. They are demons robed in a uniform representing law enforcement. Okay. Demonstrating the fact that they are posing a danger to the public, to society in such positions. 05610K1. And engaging in monitoring me, and I'm documenting the fact that these are kidnappers and criminals and demon-possessed ones. and they indeed pose that threat, okay, that harm, and engaging in that conduct. And they're just engaging in what is ongoing demented conduct. They are packs of their same cockroaches. You're talking about cockroaches that have not been revealed inside of these agencies. Removing that top off of what are cockroaches of the Ontario Fire Department, cockroaches of the Ontario Police Department, where, by the way, at no time of day will the sun actually be over their police department at 2500 South Archibald Avenue. That was revealing what is demon possession, by the way, and what is criminal activity. Okay, and blatant conflict with everywhere that I'm showing you. The state is keeping its fake sun. You know why the fake sun was there? Because the Ontario Police Department are a demon-possessed agency who are monitoring me. That's why the fake sun was there. That is why, who you have right here, the Ontario Fire Department crossing path again, license plate 1370414. All right, these are demons that are pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth, monitoring. Satan can't help them though. They are on a time clock, and I'm going to prosecute them there, and they are going into federal prison. 4TPW 041, 6CO9 326, 6X 8T 475, 8UKP 869. And I specifically documented the people of the state who were engaging in monitoring me and who are also engaging in kidnapping in that state. All right. Knowledge of who I am and where I am. That's why the fake sun was over the sheriff's vehicle. That's why I was being molested with directed light while inside of those sheriff's vehicles while I was being transported. And that is the use of interstate commerce. So let me document something real quick. Updike, license plate AJ71424, is parked in the middle of the street. This is an overweight African-American male, US.1788508. Updike, monitoring with the Ontario Fire Department, who's loitering in relevant position. Okay, inside of the parking lot of Andy's Burgers, the B&G Plaza behind, they're monitoring together. All right, Updike is in front of me in the middle of Holt Boulevard, creating light activity with that large truck. The Ontario Fire Department is loitering in relevant position, going inside of third-party facilitating being Andy's Burgers under the fake sun and in directed light. Okay, they're monitoring together. I want to document that. That's the criminal conduct by the people, third parties, and by the state that's acting directly. And then they sound their sirens after they went and got burgers from Andy's Burgers. Okay, there is no emergency. They are monitoring criminal misuse of those vehicles again, and that's exactly what American Medical Response was doing while they are driving on Holt Boulevard, and directed light is covering the road. That directed light is a direct conflict with their use of their sirens. Okay, understand the directed light is the reality of what is wrong with them and what they're doing, monitoring and engaging in terrorism. License plate 8RHE397. They are engaging in the criminal misuse of those, and that is to be a matter of federal legislation where the government is monitoring. Okay, 8UMS387, because that's what they routinely engage in. I've identified the use of sirens. It's a hallmark. 70995 J1. All right, it is currently 9:44 a.m. 8KJW554. These demons that are engaging in heavily crossing path, let me document them. Alrighty, I did capture video of what is evidence of in video documentation of what is crossing path by the state acting directly. That is the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department under what is not the sun, and where ongoing directed light is surrounding with while the people of the state are engaging in a repeated perpetual presence in the path. That's what group stalking is, in that deliberately maintained environment, acting pursuant to what is the stalking activity on full display while you're listening on my podcast to the American Medical Response, the Ontario Fire Department, and as I'm documenting the Ontario Police Department. This is the entity that's listening to me document them, listening to me as I am showing you the ways in which the policy is going to be, additional policy is necessary to prosecute what are demons. Okay, it's an entirely demonic system. 39446. That's speaking to an entirely malicious system, and there is a level of discernment with regard to the ability to pinpoint the malice. All right, but I'm showing you what is with your own eyes, what you can see. You're talking about malice when I'm showing you what is I'm revealing what is malice. For example, American Medical Response is sounding their sirens and speeding past. All right, and you are reasonably going to provide them the legitimacy of such conduct, right? There's an emergency. They're on their way to go try to save someone's life, engage in some business that they are uniquely trained to do. But what is the malice of that is the knowledge that that assumption is going to be provided, and what is coexisting with the use of that, the misuse, in other words, of that position, is directed light on the road while they are driving by, which is called crossing path. That is the malice of the system. That is a picture of malice. All right. And that is exactly what American Medical Response and the Ontario Fire Department, just the Ontario Fire Department, because I documented, like I was saying, while the Ontario Fire Department was providing that audio documentation on my podcast, what was I pointing out? What you've already seen with your own eyes, the Upland Fire Department, it is the same system. The state was keeping its fake sun over my head, which was at the Carnegie Library, which at around the exact same time right now. Okay. While I was sitting outside waiting for the library to open, it opens at 10 o'clock. And this is what I'm saying. What the state is doing here, they are prosecuting themselves. This is stalking, as you are witnessing it, as they are providing what is literally a, hey, I'm monitoring Erica Lorraine Spencer under, that's exactly what they're doing. All right, so you have what is the state crossing path by the Ontario Fire Department, and I have already shown you in video what was that radiant light that appeared, impossible light activity that was focused on me. It was coming toward me while the fake sun was directly over my head in the city of Upland, not coexisting with being and maintaining over the presence over the B&G Plaza over my head while I am here at the same time. Let me be clear. Actually, at no time of the day is that going to coexist. It's not, the actual sun is not over the center parking lot, over the parking lot of B&G Plaza, nor is it actually over the Carnegie Library. That is the state's fake sun, specifically tailoring the position of its light source over me. Okay? And so I just want to point that out. But as I've already shown you in rich video documentation, that's exactly what the Ontario Fire Department did. While they're using their sirens, all right, assuming a position of legitimacy that they're using their sirens to engage in their line of work, to go save a life, to go put out a fire. And I've documented them time and time again, and that's exactly what is not occurring while directed light and the fake sun is over my head while they're doing what is crossing path. That is malice. Understand, that's a picture of malice. And there is policy that is necessary to address that. Where the government is monitoring and you're engaging in that criminal misuse of such positions, those vehicles, I think that is a matter of legislation and being prosecuted for that. All right. Suffering consequences as a matter of justice while you're doing it, because it's not just that. They're engaging in criminal facilitation of that system for everybody that's around. Metro 102 is monitoring to that use of sirens and lights. Ontario Town Square Townhomes is monitoring to that use of lights. Center Ice Arena, the entire B&G Plaza. All right, Stereo City, it's spanning down the businesses on Hope Boulevard, the state facilitating venue of the City Hall. It spans a radius. They are engaging in criminal facilitation while they're using those emergency vehicles. All right, and it is malice as they are assuming what is a position of legitimacy using those, even being in those vehicles, using those sirens and lights. And it is malicious while they are under the fake sun and in directed light. And that's exactly what I have documented in video. That's exactly what the Ontario Fire Department engaged in again today on my podcast, and as I'm capturing them on video under the fake sun and in directed light, loitering in relevant position while I'm showing you Ryder molesting with what is directed light in the shade under the fake sun, which is in a different position as I move from Enrique's to the fire department stalking in the parking lot of B&G Plaza to sitting at the bus bench. All right, that's malice. Understand what that is. That is what malice is. This is how the demons are operating. This is how the whole system works. It's currently 9:50 a.m. You've got another Omnitrans bus arriving, 7D19001. All right, Omnitrans is a stalker, knows exactly who I am. That's why you have what is the absence of any direct light by the Enrique's income tax, contrary to when I'm standing there. That's why you don't have any direct light at the Shiro's Liquor. Understand, under no circumstances is that light that is ever going to occur anyway. You're talking about going out of your way to touch with that which is impossible to naturally occur, directed light specific to where I am. That is a demon that knows exactly who I am, knows exactly where I am, knows what I am doing. That is the admission you are making as I am documenting the people of the state, including such commercial actors who are sex offenders, molesting, touching with the government on behalf of the government. The government is acting through Omnitrans, touching with that engineered light, okay? Which is under no circumstances ever going to occur, period. All right, so you were talking about a literal, that is the most raw admission that you are going to get. And this is contrary to what is the intent to terrorize. But you're going to prosecute because that's terrorism while you're touching. That's a sex offender that's stalking you and then knows exactly who you are by virtue of the fact that that directed light is even occurring. All right, and also occurring where it's occurring. It's not just occurring while they're all just driving all up and down the street. It's occurring when they're crossing path with me, where I am. Okay, that's a stalker. All right, it is currently 9:51 a.m. and this is ongoing documentation of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department providing what is ongoing evidence of that demon possession, which I have already established. I have a wealth of documentation of the demon possession, including yesterday, while the Ontario Police Department, pay attention to my video that I documented, while the Ontario Police Department are crossing path on, because that's what that is, while I'm in the parking lot of the City Hall, and they are driving past the Metro 102 apartments, in the same way like the demons that are in their individual vehicles, their private vehicles, the Ontario Police Department drive by, and then they drive up to me. That's directed light that's covering the Metro 102 apartments. Absolutely impossible light activity. That's a demon-possessed stalker who indeed does know who I am. That's what that directed light shows. And then that officer who I have never personally met, these demons know who I am, but I have never personally met that demon-possessed stalker. All right, because I know all of their names. I know those demons by identity, because I'm going to prosecute them and put them in federal prison. I'm going to indeed provide that testimony and that documentation about who they are, what they are, their criminal motivations, the entire way that they get down. In the words of Guerrero, he said, I know how they operate, and he's absolutely right about that. I know exactly how they operate. All right. It is currently 9:52 a.m. And that is the ongoing documentation of what is the entity while it's acting directly via the Ontario Fire Department, via the Ontario Police Department, and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. All right, let me get the Ontario Fire Department, who's driving through the parking lot again. They exited off of Plum and sounded their sirens, and they're driving through the parking lot again. They are focused on me and stalking, all right? There is no form for that. It's under a fake sun. It's the same thing that Ryder is doing, and that's exactly what you're doing in that environment. It's P.O.C. This is license plate. Directed light. They're focused on me, know who I am, know exactly what I'm doing. 102-1993. All right, they drove through the parking lot to cross path with what is directed light. That is light that is not naturally occurring, and it's speaking to your knowledge of who I am and the fact that you're targeting me, and you are a demon-possessed psychopath in doing so, acting like you're doing anything other than that. All right, that's the entire impetus of the system, by the way. It is full of psychopaths, and that psychopath, that's a secular for what is its demon possession. All right, entirely malicious, a psychopath. And it doesn't matter how old, 6CZW 850, doesn't matter how old and geezerly they are. Doesn't matter how many liver spots that demon has on them. Understand? It doesn't matter how young and prepubescent those particular demons may be, and you know them by their deeds. They're stalking with audible activity. They're in relevant position under the state's fake sun and in directed light. All right? It does not matter the age, and that's what you're getting past. I'm showing you what is demonic activity, and it is criminal while they're engaging in this demonic conduct, monitoring with communication devices in violation of Title 18. All right, and that is the Ontario Fire Department. That is in those are nothing but, let me break that down, nothing but demons in a fire truck, showing what is the necessary act of not only federal prosecution for what is terrorism and acting as a state. These are psychopaths that are monitoring every word that you utter while they engage in that demented conduct of stalking. And they're also admitting as to what is knowledge of who I am and the fact that they are indeed stalking on behalf of the government that's operating the system. And they are acting directly in doing so while directed light is beside their vehicle. All right, aiming toward me. The directed light occurring, but you're also looking at where is that direct light. No matter what direction they're driving, it's always coming toward me. They are stalking, and they are entirely focused. Satan is the stalker that will keep his back toward you while he is stalking you in the path. That's the psychopath. Okay, the fact that you're even trying to act like you're doing something else, or the fact that you try to point your finger and call somebody else crazy while you're stalking them, that's a psychopath and a dangerous one. That's exactly what is in operation with the Ontario Police Department. That's exactly what's in operation with the Ontario Fire Department and American Medical Response. Those demons driving by in those emergency vehicles while directed light is on the ground, and they're using their sirens and lights as though they have some emergency going on. Not under the fake sun and in directed light. They are monitoring, and those are dangerous psychopaths. Worthy of federal prison as well, having engaged in kidnapping. 02108F2. All right, it is currently 9:55 a.m. Alrighty. That shared obsession, and that's exactly what it is. Just want to be clear in case you did not know, that's what stalking is about. And this is an unfathomable level of terrorism, because while that obsession is being shared amongst people that you do not even know, okay, who are engaging in literal tracking of your steps, who are engaging in that obsessive conduct while they stalk you in the bathroom, who, based on their condition, are demon possessed, have knowledge corporately, and based on the fact that it's also the government that's engaging in surveillance. But I'm revealing what is their demon possession. Let me be clear. This is that which is deduced based on the pattern of conduct, which is demonic. And these demons engage in stalking with audible activity while you are in a private space, while you're physically indisposed. Let me let you know what that's communicating. First of all, it's communicating ARZS 604 that they are not only, as the target individual is likely sensing that something is awry, something is very weird about, and it's concerning all these people that I don't know. All right. But then also that is threatening inside of that private space while you're engaging in personal conduct. And that same weird, peculiar activity is occurring even when someone is not physically present in the bathroom, which is revealing what is something that is sexually violent. All right. You're talking about the communication of a sexually violent threat. That's how that's prosecuted. But it is communicating what is knowledge as to where you are, what you are doing. And then you're talking about those same stalkers, because that's exactly what you are in that environment, nothing else. I don't care what status you try to maintain. You're not doing anything but stalking on behalf of the government under the fake Senate and direct light. AJFS 945. Okay, that's how the state system operates. Thinking that you can never be found as a stalker because you were at work on your shift before the target individual arrived there. No, I don't think so. That's why the entity is stalking with an entire environment. That's why the entity is acting through the people. All right. And that P.O.C. is underway regardless of what time you arrived on your shift. And the state has made itself present through you. And you are also complicit in what is a demonic behavioral pattern. You're a psychopath, stalking with noise, stalking with light, and stalking in the path. 4XGL385. All right. So you're understanding the entire malice of that system. All right. And it is the state's pattern of conduct. And you are doing nothing but stalking and engaging in surveillance. And so you have what is entering inside while you're engaging in that peculiar conduct, which is entirely terrorizing 8BLW370 with the government, all right, as a people, 8EAK941. And then you engage in entering inside of the private space, okay? 7WYC115. You enter inside of the doors of the private space. All right, and this is I'm speaking of the private space that's inside of any published establishment, which is the bathroom, 5UHW046, where the target individual that is aware that they are being followed by strangers, okay, but they don't know. You're talking about the ordinary target individual. They don't know how to prove that. This notion of documentation is there. How are you going? This is the mindset of the ordinary target individual, and not only that, not even capable of clearly articulating what it is that they suspect is going on around them. You have an impulse that people are following you, okay, and you are aware of the fact that also it is law enforcement. The state is stalking by planes. Why are planes everywhere that you're at? Right? These are sounding like incredible occurrences. All right, but for documentation, you are intended to sound like you are a Looney Tune. Okay, it is intended to sound that way. And let me be clear, that is the dangerous psychopath that has designed this system. 1146257 fire 8XTU243 8XBP081. That is the conduct, that is the work of a vicious psychopath, okay? All right, I did capture in video because I want to show that's video documentation I'm going to prosecute the law enforcement agencies with. 8BLW370. So you have what is understanding that absolute strangers are following you, but perhaps lacking the ability to articulate how you are able to identify that, what it is that you're sensing. The fact that you are sensing actually is legitimate, but in order to prosecute, you have to have more than just the fact that you're sensing that strangers are following you around. License 1599320, that's the Sheriff's Department engaging in the same criminal conduct of the Police Department. 1580340, City of Ontario. License 80925H2, City of Ontario. 1584185. CK43593, Arizona. Understand, City of Ontario, engaging in federal stalking, engaging in terrorism and stalking with the state, engaged in criminal summoning, all right? They're going to federal prison. You're talking about and they intentionally engage in that conduct as you document. This is conduct of demons, all right? You're talking about the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, crossing path after I'm documenting what is the Ontario Police Department. They are both engaged in a pattern of kidnapping, and they're present under the state's fake sun that is moving in real time over my head, speaking to what is the stalking activity by such agency as the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. I want to speak to that. That's entirely malicious as well. You're talking about intentional conduct. It is all intentional under the fake sun and indirect light, and where the state is creating what's supposed to be the shadow of a plane while it's flying over Holt Boulevard. That's impossible light activity. It's as impossible as what is directed light reaching from vehicles while they're driving by, which is ample documentation that I have, speaking to the prosecution of the law enforcement agencies and of the people of the state. I want to just make sure I spell that out for you. This is that's the despicable conduct of what are the demon possessed. All right, they're disgusting, they're cockroaches, and I want to let you know what is their demonic intent behind what they do and everything that they do. Okay, the ways that they do it is relevant, and in the same way as they are stalking with activity, meaning the timing with which they engage in activity creation, it's as deliberate as that. Okay, 4XGL385. 7TUX302, 8GEM070. They are stalking with the state whose fake sun is over the drive-through Andy's Burgers. And while the state is creating light activity while a plane flies over, as though a plane is creating a shadow over the street. 4UGF425. Everything the state does prosecutes the people. License 21767T1. All right, it is currently, let me get this one, 32134X1, 8VDC798, 8NRE572. All right, I'm showing you what is, I did take a picture of that because what you're looking at is, as I am I'm at Plum and Holt Boulevard, okay? So I'm taking a picture of what is the state's fake sun that has made a grand departure from remaining over the B&G Plaza in conflict with what I documented just the other day as I remain here well after 11 a.m. And the state is keeping it right there, center over the B&G Plaza where I am sitting. All right, this is real-time movement as I move in the same way that the people of the state are stalking, okay? You have what is the state moving its fake sun to be over, and this is what I'm looking at. It's a means of relevant positioning, and you are stalking while you're ordering burgers at the venue. By the way, Andy's Burgers is a venue where the Ontario Fire Department used as a means in the same way that the people are to maintain relevant position to stalk with directed light under the fake sun. All right, and that is documentation of Andy's Burgers. It's the malicious conduct of the entity, and they could have gone to the Enrique's income tax venue. It doesn't matter where they're going. It's a venue, and they're monitoring with the state, and that's documentation of Andy's Burgers to that end. So like I said, the state's fake sun is right over the drive-thru of the Andy's Burgers right now at 10:03 a.m. Which is what I took a picture of. You're looking at a stalker in the drive-thru under the fake sun that has moved from its documented position of remaining over the B&G Plaza well after 3 p.m. as I stayed at that venue. The state did move its fake sun to go what is north as I go to the library, and then I walk back, step for step, as I've shown you. That is also not the sun. That's the same fake sun that the Ontario Police Department are stalking under, all right? And that's intentional presence and stalking presence and terrorizing stalking activity by such demon-possessed actors of the Ontario Police Department and the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department and the Ontario Fire Department, including American Medical Response. You have what is the state maintaining that light activity flying over in a plane and a large shadow just moving across off the street, and the only first of all, it's absolutely impossible. But while there is nothing that is going to create a shadow over the street, the state is engaging in this creation of some random shadow moving across the street at the same time that it is creating amplified audible activity of a plane flying over under the fake sun. And so I am deducing that the state is creating this shadow while a plane is flying over, as though some plane is going to create a shadow on the street. It is ridiculous, but that is what the state does, and that is what I have documented before. The state did that when I was sitting at the Ontario Town Square. It would create a shadow across the property while I was sitting there, and the state kept its fake sun over the Ontario Town Square. All right, and that's what they are sitting in relevant position while the fake sun is directly over them, okay? That is the direct evidence of the fact that you're a stalker, and it doesn't matter what you order while you're stalking. And that is knowledge as to who I am as well. That is the malice with which the people engage in the P.O.C. And that same analysis is going toward what are the demons of the Ontario Police Department, the demons of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, and the Fire Department, who I also captured in video today. It's 10:06 a.m. and my bigger point is, as I am taking that picture of what is incorporating the parking lot of the Andy's Burgers, of the drive-thru, and you're looking at what is the fake sun directly over them while they're ordering, which is a method of nothing but documentation, because there is no form and there is no legal argument with regard to any sort of defense or excuse from prosecution. You have what is the fake sun as I'm facing south, capturing that image. And I just want to be clear, as I have already shown, as I enter the venue of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, I am facing the absolute opposite direction. At my back, in other words, is to the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, where I am Ontario Police crossing path again, vehicle 1019. Where I am north of this location through the parking lot, and the state is engaging in a real-time migration with its fake sun over my head to be at that location. All right, so I'm just speaking to everything that you're witnessing as I am documenting stalking by a people who are stalking under a fake sun, okay? And engaging in what is that act of terrorism? Let me be clear, Ontario Police is just replacing Ryder, who engages in crossing path repeatedly in that commercial vehicle. The Ontario Police are going to federal prison, and you disband such law enforcement agencies that engage in this system. They're criminals, and they're dangerous psychopaths, all right? They're demon-possessed. Let me be clear, what that means is Satan itself animates them. And I have seen that very weird conduct. I've seen them jerk and move around based on as I move. It's a demon that is controlling them. You're not talking about the absence of the ability to make any decision. You're talking about a psychopath that is compelled by Satan itself. All right, and that is what is the condition of the Ontario Police Department altogether. That is why the fake sun at 10 o'clock, 10:08 in the morning, it's never going to be over the Ontario Police Department. It's only going to be over the Ontario Police Department, like I documented, when I am at the Ontario Police Department. And that is maintaining that central presence over my head. Okay, this is entirely revealing what is demon possession. That is a very dangerous condition for anyone of law enforcement. That is an unworthiness because you cannot trust that. It is, first of all, also antithetical to any notion of constitutional rights. Satan does not care about your human rights. As the pattern of conduct shows, Satan does not care about your human rights. All right, this is shown through the pattern of conduct itself. And it is the criminal conduct that you're focusing on. And that's what is revealing. The Ontario Police Department are engaging in what is called crossing the path. And those are demons that are patrolling, okay? Pacing back and forth. That is demonic in and of itself, because that's exactly what you were doing in Engineered Light. Walking around, flying around, driving around in a circle. That's a psychopath. That's demonic. That's what they are doing in their police vehicles. They are driving back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. They are actually, this is a demon that is pacing. All right, and understand these demons are acting as a group. All right, so you can have more than one vehicle. They are one actor. They're acting together. They're engaging in group conduct in concert with the people of the state. But I'm focusing on the agency right now, the police department. And I want to be clear, they're engaging in pacing conduct. All right, license plate. And that's demonic. 5JAV037. And what is really revealing what is a psychopath is the bottom line is that they are entirely focused on me, stalking. 7ZTM958. And that is what is so profoundly pathetic. But it is speaking to what is a terrorizing threat. While law enforcement are engaging in that level of stalking an American citizen, BSM4036. All right, and this demon over here is stalking, sitting in a vehicle, manning the path at the Ontario Town Square. The Ontario Town Square townhomes, where the state's fake sun is no longer over the B&G Plaza, speaking to the stalking activity of the Ontario Police, San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, and the Ontario Fire Department. American Medical Response. This is license plate 8TWB042. Fake sun you see right in the picture while he is stalking in the path under the fake sun in operation of a communication device. That's called stalking in the path. All right, directed light covers the sidewalk while I'm walking on the sidewalk of Metro 102, walking north up walking north up Plum. That's called stalking in the path. That is a knowledge of who I am, by the way, while the fake sun is directly over you while you are waiting for me to walk past you. That's what group stalking is. It is surveillance by the people. The people are engaging in surveillance conduct. And that's all you're doing, by the way. That's all that the government is doing through the people. That is the priority, and everything that they're outwardly looking, these are demons that are outwardly appearing as though they are focused on one thing, and they are engaging in entirely malicious conduct that is focused on that American citizen who's being monitored by the government, who is inside of that environment. That is what is superseding anything that they would form. I'm just at work. No, you're not. You're in a facilitating venue, and you are also engaging in an entirely terrorizing and demonic behavioral pattern of stalking with audible activity while you're in that environment. Those are not coincidences. That's called the P.O.C. U308CA, 8GUC 601, 7VVP 628, M760HO, 7VDK 278, 57131N2, 6XAR 947, 6LKH 835, 8SYG 883, 8GYE 330, 7FFG 797, 8EZR 594, 8NRA 397, 56088M2, 7HDH 892, 8JLD 112, 8CKX 233, 7KTW 830, 5MJK 067, 5YSE 311, 5 Alrighty, and as I'm walking through right now the parking lot of the 280 North Limit Apartments, which is shared with the Ontario Senior Center, where you saw that old biddy get out of her car, and she has directed light on the ground where she is getting out of her car. And this is a group stalker that is using what is the outward appearance of focusing on some old biddy getting out of their car, dropping them off at the Ontario Senior Center in the neighborhood. They're doing it under the fake sun, and you're also looking at what is manifesting directed light just appearing on the ground while she opens the door. She's stalking with light. That's what that's a form for, and that's the malice with which the demon-possessed engage in monitoring you. Know exactly who you are, all right? And engaging, it doesn't matter how old or how young that demon looks. You're looking at what is the conduct, and you will see, as I have revealed the pattern of conduct, all the forms, if you will, all the methods whereby, first of all, the elements are being maintained, and the malice with which the demon-possessed are engaging in federal stalking. That is the ongoing perpetual engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring, light, activity, and relevant positioning. Alrighty, and as I'm walking through that parking lot, the state is keeping its fake sun over my head as I advance north. All right, and that's how you have what is then arrival of the fake sun over the 280 North Limit Apartments, over the tip that is facing the entrance of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. And you have what is necessary movement and impossible conduct of, that's not the sun that's engaging in that conduct. And I've also shown you it's not only not the sun, but that's also not sunlight. That's directed light that I'm showing you coexists with this stalking with the fake sun. And the people are stalking together, 8WUR 767. And that's what Clean Street demonstrated in that commercial vehicle. That's yet another third party, a stranger, if you will, engaging in that P.O.C, creating what is noise, that's audible activity, while they are in the path, that's called relevant positioning. And then that demon engaged in driving around in a circle while you're looking at what? Directed light. Directed light, moving across on the ground. Impossible light activity. Under what is not the sun that moved from remaining over my head at B&G Plaza, maintain that central presence as I walk a particular route. Because remember, when I don't walk through this parking lot of the City Hall, walking up north from B&G Plaza, when I walk on Euclid Avenue, the state does not keep its fake sun over that backside of that parking lot, which I'm clearly showing you in pictures and video. The state keeps its fake sun over my head while I walk up Euclid Avenue. That's what I showed you day in and day out while I was coming from Ontario, and I was going to Upland Public Library, driving north of Euclid Avenue. Going north and south of Euclid Avenue, where's the state's fake sun? It is not at this time remaining over the B&G Plaza and going through the parking lot. That's how you know what McCarthy is engaged in right now. Those are demons intentionally engaging in activity creation. There is nothing that they can be building under the fake sun and in direct light that is anything other than malicious engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring. And they are demons engaging in that conduct. That is prosecuted as what is terrorism. All right, they're engaged in the P.O.C of the maintenance on behalf of a government. That's exactly what Union Pacific engages in. All right, so like I said, the state keeps its fake sun precisely above me where I am, and that's a grand departure while the state keeps it north through the window of any vehicle or over my head while I'm walking on Euclid Avenue to the same venue, by the way, the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. Over my head through the Ontario Town Square, where you see the Ontario Police Department stalking under such circumstances. They are stalking, period. They're stalking. And they're doing so with knowledge of the fact they're being documented. They're going to federal prison, period. You're talking about revealing what is disbanding and the ways in which and the grounds upon which you disband agencies that pose a danger to the public. They are literally unworthy of existing. They are the antithetical representation of what law enforcement is supposed to be and what they are supposed to be doing. Okay? You're talking about you want to talk about malice? That is the demon possession that is maliciously underway. Criminal conduct of an obsessive criminal nature active through the Ontario Police Department. Okay? And that is the third party using commercial airline planes providing to the government. That's Delta Airlines under the fake sun and directed light while this demon with license plate. This demon with license plate crosses past 7BVU286. All right, that's Delta Airlines monitoring as the people in concert with that demon with that license plate. Okay, that's P.O.C. That's how you know what they are doing. There's no form for it. There is absolutely no form. This is the operation of the system. All right, you're talking about what are vicious, demon-possessed criminals who pose a very potent threat to the public. That's what the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department is. All right, those are Satan owned. Satan has its stamp on it, and that is dangerous. That's no protection of some religious right. That is criminal conduct that they are flagrantly engaging in, awaiting for that exposure on a grander scale. Because I have already revealed to the world, it's going to be on a grander scale, and it is the grounds upon which you disband such law enforcement agencies. They can no longer exist under those circumstances. You're talking about being infected. Okay, they are infected. They're diseased. They are sick with demon possession, and that demon possession is directly relevant to what is a dangerous psychopath in such positions of government, of law enforcement, monitoring American citizens. It's an entirely satanic targeting system underway, and it is in violation of existing federal law while that satanic system is in operation. All right, these criminal elements of light activity and relevant positioning are demonic at their core. They are achieving the criminal objective in violation of Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. All right, it is revealing what are those who are in positions that they need to be snatched out of, the ways in which that they are worthy of federal prison and being snatched out of those positions. That's what the people of the state, that's what the law enforcement have demonstrated and have engaged in and have been documented as engaged in. All right, and it is 10:18 a.m. and the state's fake sun is over the 280 North Lemon Apartments, aiming what is directed light underneath the shaded structure, and the state is aiming light at the same position. Understand that. That's what I've already documented, and that's what the state provides evidence of, revealing what is nothing but a venue. The demon-possessed fill the venue, stalking and tracking every move, stalking with noise, while the state maintains an ongoing soundtrack, that's terrorism, of noise inside of that venue, which is filled with engineered light. That's how you have double shadows. That's how you have upright objects such as the chair and the desk partitions, which are not going to have flat shadows on the ground. All right, that's how you have that. They're in engineered light, stalking with noise and stalking together in the path, and they are tracking your steps, stalking in the bathroom. And that's what I'm documenting as the people engage in that sexual violence. They're already sex offenders. The state of California is already a sex offender. I'm documenting as they specifically move that sexual violence, and the entity is then stalking in the private space, because I'm revealing what is that depravity and what is that predatory psychopath that is literally crouching in a bathroom, stalking an American citizen. Because that's the picture you need to have in your mind, because that's literally what they're doing. And that's why I'm documenting it, because I'm going to prosecute them for that as well. It is currently 10:19 a.m. That is P.O.C. BYOM 760. It's 6:26 p.m. The people loitering in relevant position, stalking, tracking my steps while I exit the venue of the library. That is one of the license plates. POC. 6 NOK 131 molestation. This is at Food for Less, 2246 Euclid Avenue in Ontario. It's 7:16 p.m. 7 NTN 602. Ontario police are stalking, using their police lights and directed light. This is blatant exposure of what is the criminal conduct by the Ontario Police Department and the people of the state. And this is on Euclid Avenue. It's currently 7:27 p.m. The people are monitoring with the police department while they're using their vehicle lights. 65470V1. They are on hold. I'm sorry, Euclid Avenue license. Let's see. Alvan, ALVAND. That's a coach bus. They're monitoring. 5HOZ 530. 7CLB 516. 7ZTM 022. 7NTN 602 decides to turn onto Hope Boulevard when they were proceeding north on Euclid Avenue. It's 7:28 p.m. The use of their police lights is criminal facilitation. It is facilitating federal group stalking and monitoring. It is the engagement in the elements of light and relevant positioning. That is light activity. It is the same ominous stalking conduct. Law enforcement, the demon-possessed agency, law enforcement engage in the P.O.C, the demonic pattern of conduct that is criminal by using their police lights. Okay, that's what the AMR and the fire department do as well. It's demonic. 8WZN 622, and it is prosecuted as the criminal facilitating conduct that it is. That was Ontario Police Department on Euclid Avenue. That is POC. Oh, hold on. Let me get this one. Creating light activity with our turn signal. 7VCR 694. 6W. I can't see that one. 7LVL 928. 8AUL 594. 5SDS 267.
Yes, because it need to be the simplicity of a man. So there's a few things. One, a lot of women overthink and overanalyze their relationship.
And license 8CK. Oh, I can't really see that one. It is currently 7:29 p.m. And we're proceeding what is north on Vine Avenue. All right, this is a document. The state is aiming directed light inside of the vehicle, and this is coinciding with the stalking activity of the people of the state. They are engaged in what is referred to as crossing path. While they cross path, directed light is aimed inside of the car, moving directed light, okay? While the state is also, and I want to document right now, 747, as I recite that pattern of conduct, the state replicating it, doing it in real time. I'm going to prosecute the people of the state for that, okay? Engaging and we're doing it as I speak of it. That's a psychopath and that's a terrorizing threat, and I'm documenting that. That's what the people are engaging in, and that is engagement in the government's pattern of conduct. The state is also flashing directed light inside of the vehicle. You have what is absolutely impossible light activity occurring, and then as I am reciting the fact that that impossible light is occurring, the state engaging in that terrorizing act as I recited. Okay, that's going to the prosecution. All right. It is currently 7:48 p.m. and this is the ongoing P.O.C. While the entity that is stalking, while I'm showing you under a fake sun and in directed light during the day, that same exact entity is stalking right now. It is 24 hours a day that the government is monitoring and stalking an American citizen, that the people of the state of California is monitoring and stalking an American citizen. And that is why you have what is that engineered light. The same engineered light I'm showing you as Ryder is stalking on Holt Boulevard, as Stater Brothers is stalking at that venue of 646 West Holt, and directed light is on the ceiling inside of that vehicle. Directed light is under that shaded covering of those entrance doors, while the fake sun is over that parking lot, while the fake sun is over my head everywhere that I'm walking, and directed light fills the venue of Ontario Over Family Community Library. The entity, the exact same entity, and every documented actor, the government of the state of the state of California, the public entity is stalking where I sleep, knows exactly where I am, and that same exact template that I have revealed is the pattern of conduct is underway. Okay, it's 7:49 p.m. This is P.O.C.